What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We have Daniel Roe here, who's gonna be teaching me Vue.js. Daniel,
Hey, Tejas, it's such a pleasure to be here, and I can't believe it's happened at last.
finally. Yeah. So we don't have control over a lot of things in this stream. So if you notice audio issues or video issues, whatever you want, let us know. We'll be happy to address them. I'm just getting set up here. And I came into this, Daniel, full disclosure, without any plan whatsoever. Here. So um, I'm excited to kind of have you teach me things.
It is totally the best plan not to have one, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's make it happen. So, should we just dive straight into it?
Sure. I don't know what else to do unless you want to invite people to tell us where they're from. No, you know what? Forget it. Let's just get into it. Teach me Vue. Teach me all the things. I'm ready.
Okay, let's get straight into it. And basically, people should chat and say what if they have any questions, and we can answer those and look at them too at the same time.
That's actually
So
one more thing, just that you mentioned. I'm going to be able to pin comments to the screen. So if you have questions, good shout, Daniel. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll pin them to the screen so that others can see. Just leave a comment, basically. Cool. With that, let's get into it.
super. Okay. Um, Great. Let's do this. So if you can, let's start a new project. The Nuxt project probably, and it can be a wrapper around, and then we can start exploring Vue inside
Wait,
that.
so you're telling
So
me the best way to learn Vue is to start with Nuxt?
it's that is what I'm saying. Yes. Other solutions are available, but it's a good way to get started, and it's vanilla Vue. You can use it just out of the box.
All right.
So if you go to Nuxt.new, or you can actually go to Nuxt.com. Nuxt.new is just going to give you a quick command. That's it, npx nuxi init. So you can click that to copy it. By the way, Nuxt.new is built with Nuxt, but it has no JavaScript.
Nuxie. Interesting.
Yeah.
What should
And
we
so
call
you can
that,
just,
Daniel?
how do I, oh, what should we call it? Oh,
Naming things always hard.
it's a proverbial thing. What are the hard things in programming? Naming them. Naming things is the first. Is it naming things uh, off by one errors, cache invalidation?
Right.
Those are the
Fayaz
four things that
Fayaz says we should use a small blog and use Nuxt content module. I don't know what that is, but sounds smart.
sounds good. Let's do that. Let's never say we don't take suggestions.
Yeah.
So we can call it blog.
Okay. Sounds good. Just gonna pin his comment. Nux
Yeah.
Nuxie in a blog. Okay, now what is Nuxie?
Nuxi is the new Nuxt CLI. Um, Actually, there's a new next generation version of this, which is going to come very soon with version 3.4, and that is going to blow your mind. But at the moment, yeah. So yeah. So we created a new project.
This guy's
Um,
teasing here. Wait. Why is this gonna blow my mind? What's so special about it?
the new one, the one that's not yet released. So I can't
Oh,
tell
come
you
on.
anything about it. I want to. I totally want to save that some goodies. Well, I'll tell you some goodies.
Okay.
So there's a new library which we're going to open source very, very soon, which basically is able to remove some of the distinction between manual and automatic configuration.
Okay.
So you can basically do a lot more with CLI. You can also do a lot more with devtools in your browser, and actually just it all fits together. So, for example, you make a change in your devtools, and it writes it to your Next config file, or installs something in your project. So
Oof.
it's just a unified ecosystem. Don't
So
tell anybody this is secret. I'm not
yeah,
allowed to announce this yet.
thankfully
Like,
nobody watches my live streams. No, but wow, that's nuts. So that's kind of like the sources panel, like editing CSS in the inspector and then saving it, and then you get like cha code changes, but with Vue. Do I understand that
well,
correct?
if you're interested, I can show you what you can already do with devtools,
Oof.
and I think you might be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, let's do that. But first, maybe let's get started here with our little blog. So he said Nuxt content module. What I'm gonna do is yes.
We can do it step by step. So let's if you can you open this in VS Code just so I show you what's installed out of the box.
Yes.
And basically, you've got so it's the basic install is pretty minimal. So if you were to run, you'll need to install the dependencies because out of the box it leaves that up to you. So you might have different packaging.
You know,
I'm
someone,
glad to see you're using PNPL. I'm totally on board with this.
yeah, someone once
Um,
suggested to me to just alias the command npm to pnpm.
yeah, and you know, it actually a lot of it works. It has this amazing sort of backwards compatibility. Uh, the oh yes, you can decide if you want to.
This is very good. I think more open source tools need to do this. I think of, for example, Tauri, you know, like the native app builder thing. I would love it if I could just opt into like here, take my data. Anyway, okay, so I installed it. What do we do now? Do I, if this was a Next.js app, I might go like pages/index.tsx. Is it?
This thing to do that would work fine. If you just run the dev server to start with, that's going to empower a lot of your experience as you build.
Start the dev server?
Is my sound weird for you, Tejas?
It's good for me, but okay, well, a couple people have mentioned it's a bit choppy. Let's see what I can do about that.
I can also see if maybe it's my Bluetooth.
Let's switch the mic mode. Does that help? I don't really. Is this, well, let me check. Go to system preference. Daniel's voice is lagging a lot. I don't like that. It's not very good, is it? If it's lagging, there's things we can do about that. Let me come over here. Oh, this is my favorite part about streams. It's just completely and utterly like going off the rails because of some technical issue.
Is Daniel's voice lagging or is Daniel lagging?
Yeah, or
Maybe I am just.
is Daniel even audible? That's quite important. Okay, Daniel, can you tell us a story in 2 points? You're nice. If you can tell us, Daniel, two favorite types of pizza of yours. Let's see if they can hear you. And then comments, like tell us back what he says.
Okay. So my favorite type of pizza has got to be incredibly basic. It's something like a pepperoni. Ooh, I hear myself. Pepperoni pizza with cheese and really spicy, something really spicy on it. Maybe make it chorizo and chili. And actually, if you drizzle a little bit of honey on the top of that, it just gives it another edge, which transforms things. I can swap my microphone, so I'm not using Bluetooth at all, but just using an actual physical mic. That might make things better. We can try that.
Yeah, let's see if people heard you at least one of your favorite kinds of pizza, and then we can go from there.
Um,
I,
okay.
I,
Second favorite kind of pizza. Do you know I absolutely love? Yeah, I'm actually a fan of stuff like Hawaiian. Even I'm just going to drop that in there because it's controversial. But Hawaiian it's good. It is pizza. I'm just saying that. I don't know how actual Hawaiian it is, but it is. Oh, and Mick Pizza is speaking because obviously this. Uh,
yeah, that's wild. Oh, look, I see that there's a sync offset. Maybe that's why. Um, okay, I think this may make the audio better. Fayaz, did you hear that it was salami and wait and Hawaiian? Wow, this guy be causing chaos up in here. Um,
oh, I'm now using a different mic. Is this any better for you?
it's better for me for sure. I just
Okay.
I just heard a baby from your mic. Um,
Yeah, maybe it's too sensitive. It's picking up my son sort of singing happily in the kitchen, I think.
it's always a good sound. Anyway, that sounds good to me. We're gonna move forward. If you have major issues in the comments around the audio, not like your life, like the rest of us, let us know. But let's move forward with the example. Okay, so coming back to coming back to the longer lag. It's okay, Daniel. You're not going to see his lips when we code. Coming back to Nuxt, this is what I would do in a Next.js app. I would have pages/index.tsx and go from there to make a page.
So if you are, so actually you don't need that to get started. All you would need is to open that app.vue and make some changes to it. But I mean, this is totally legit as well. So if you're getting started, the first thing to do is run the install that. The first thing you're going to want to do is run the dev server. So just pnpm dev in a terminal should be fine. That's going to do a number of things. It's going to generate some types for you, so that your IDE knows what's available ambiently in the environment. So for example, if you were to go into your project and start typing, it will now know things like the aliases that are available in your project, auto imports that will just work without you needing to manually import things, and things like that. It will also know the types of say, the components that are available to you. So now you should see that Nuxt welcome component in app.vue has a slightly different color.
Yeah.
And if you hover over it, you should actually, or maybe you might need to finish installing that. Oh no, the plugin is now installed. But yes, we actually can see the props that now accepts. So it's an auto-imported component that's available to you. And it has type safety on the props that accepts. It's not really meant to be customized. Those props are not really for use, but they are recognized by your IDE. So yes, you could do that. Don't drop the colon in front of app name. And if you save that, then that will and you can go into your browser and look at localhost 3000, and you'll see your Nuxt app running. So and somewhere there's probably hello, if that prop was ever used.
It wasn't.
I think app name is only used in the tab. Like it's the browser title tab. It's not meant to be customized.
Okay. Why did I drop the colon here? What is this syntax? As a React dev, I don't get it.
Yeah. So basically, the default Vue syntax is this single file component. You can write in TSX as well. So if you prefer that, that is totally fine.
Wow, how do I do that? Do I just rename this?
Yeah, rename it to app.tsx.
Oh, now you're talking. Okay, now what?
Okay, and delete all that and just do export defaults, define component. And then it takes an object and a setup function. Great, and then you can just return some. Yeah, you're gonna not want to do that. You're gonna return some JSX.
Okay, so return h1 sup Daniel cool pizza bro, and then don't need this. Really? Does that work? Well, I don't see it working. What am I doing wrong?
What's going on? Why isn't it working? No, sorry, you don't return the JSX. You return a function that returns the JSX. So sorry, you return. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay. Um, I want to ask why, but I'm scared of the answer. Like,
So in React world, your every time your component runs,
yeah,
the whole function runs.
right.
In Vue world, this is a setup function. You can actually just write a render function. So instead of doing this, you could not have a setup function, but you could have a render function that just returns the JSX. So that would be fine.
Okay, we need to talk about this is important to talk about the difference between a setup and a render function.
Yeah, because it's one of the big differences between Vue and React.
Right.
So this is defining every time this renders, it's going to run that. That is what it's going to run. But Vue has this concept of a setup. So you can do something that only runs once every time a component is initialized. It can define things like reactive properties, which you might call signals and other frameworks, for example. You can define like a reactive object or whatever, and then expose that to the render function. And then the render function is what which runs every time the component renders, but it doesn't need to rerun the setup function again. So that's why the setup function in JSX land returns a function, because that function it returns is the thing that's going to be run every time.
So can I have a setup and a render function? And this I don't understand. Like, can I have
So
both?
yeah. So the thing that you typically wouldn't write both a setup and render function. The function you return from your setup function is the render function.
Ah, so then Vue uses that return value internally
Yeah.
when updates happen. Okay, I got it. Okay, wow. Cool.
So, I mean, I do want to convince you that Vue SFCs are the future. But if you're coming from JSX world, then it is worth knowing that Vue totally supports them. And it is, you can write things in JSX without any issues. You can even write bits of your app in JSX. You can write some components in JSX and then use them in Vue SFCs, no problem.
Are these what you're calling Vue SFCs?
No, a Vue single file component is something that it has a .vue extension, and it might have a number of blocks in that. So it might have a template block, it might have a script block, a style block. It also supports custom blocks.
This is
Um,
this is I find this very interesting because I feel like Vue SFCs syntactically are very close to Svelte in a way, right? Because in Svelte you have style and script and you
yeah.
markup. And so this is, I mean, from what I'm seeing, the barrier to entry is lower. If you're coming from Svelte, you do SFCs. If you're coming from React, you maybe start with this, and then who knows? Maybe I'll move towards SFCs if I get deeper in Vue. But I kind of like this from a DX perspective. Cool.
Um,
I have a plan now that we've kind of started to pull on the thread. I have directions where I'd like to learn Vue. And so I might just we might do it like this where I just ask you and you teach me thing.
okay.
Cool. So now that we're here and we have a basic, you know, not SFC, I would like to introduce state here. So what I want to do is something really basic. And I might even just try it myself to see if I get it right the first time. Okay. So what we'll do is hello, Tejas. And then what I want to do is, state here. So something like this. Um, how would is there like a state?
So I would strongly advise not separating out your render function from your set. I would. So there are several ways you can write a Vue component. And the easiest way in this case is actually to just turn this into a setup function. Just rename it setup, and then just return a function that returns that. And then just in the line before, say const name equals ref. But actually, yeah, you just call it ref, and that's a function, and you can pass it the value. So, uh, yeah, exactly. And now when interesting, okay, and now when you use the name, say dot not name dot but dot sorry, but name dot value, and that is now going to be a reactive property.
I like
So
this.
so now if you want to change it, for example, you can create a button or something in your template, and uh, or whatever. Yeah, that would work.
Dude, Copilot is like the game changer right here.
It's great, isn't it?
Whoa. E dot no, name dot. Okay, this looks actually good. Is this valid?
You don't need to set an on change if you're using vModel.
Oof,
Um, so vModel handles setting and updating state for you.
bro,
So
this is some next level stuff. But I guess this is what kind of scares me, right? Is like there's magic here. Like having an on change prop is explicit. Like this thing.
so you can do that too if you want, but vModel does two things. It is shorthand for setting the value based on the current value and changing the value when the component state changes. But you could do that yourself. You don't have to use vModel to do it. So
What
if we want to have a look at what it is doing under the hood, if you swap back to your VS Code and change it to a colon value equals name.value.
let's do that. So colon.
Sorry, not colon value, because obviously this is JSX. But if you do like value equals name.value,
Okay. Yeah.
okay, so that's and you save that, then that should work, but it's not reactive. So now if you update, nothing is happening, right? There is a change event happening, but we're not doing anything with that. We just set the initial value of the component. So now let's add an on change.
Okay. On change.
And now what we do is we're going to get a new value from the event, and what we want to do is set the name whenever we change it.
Yeah, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's check.
Let's see that that works.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm really enjoying this comment section, by the way. It doesn't work. Oh, it does, but oh, interesting. It's on change, so that's when it blurs. So if I change this now
Yeah.
to the actual on input event, then we'll get what we want, right? Probably.
Uh, yes, good call.
Daniel
There we go.
is my uncle. This is awesome, dude. Okay. So you can't, what I'm
So
seeing is like Vue seems to be a bit of a people pleaser, right? Like you have the Svelte-like SFCs, you have the React-like components, and now even you can do it the way you're used to in React with explicit on change and less magic, or with your binding. Um,
yeah,
it's nice.
but I mean, it's not like Vue has adapted to these other frameworks. Like Vue's been around for a while. Vue's been around since before Svelte, I'm pretty sure. So like this is it's flexible, but it has good defaults.
Mm,
And JSX is not the default. You know, this is not the happy path, but
yeah.
this is it's fine if you're used to it.
So it's just
So
it's almost like a concession to ease the barrier of entry.
like honestly, this is it almost feels like you're wanting to go more verbose than you need to. So, you know, what's the problem with vmodel? Vmodel is just as explicit. It basically says we bind to input, we bind the value to an input, and we update the value when the sort of internal state changes, except that it handles things like native HTML state for you.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking like inputs, they are hugely complex. How do you bind to a set of radio buttons? How do you bind to a set of checkboxes? What if multiple values are accepted? What do you do? Like there's a lot of complexity there. And if you every time you're having to handle like form state are having to say, okay, right, the value here isn't actually not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in this other property of HTML element, depending on which one it is. Whereas vModel handles that. So
Mm.
basically, it knows what kind of element it is. It knows how value is stored. It knows whether it makes sense for this to be an array or a Boolean or whatever. And it basically just means you don't need to think about the way that the incoming value is set on the element.
Right, but this you don't need to think of it is trading control for convenience. It's a different level of abstraction. And
It's yeah, well, it's trading it, but it's not giving it up because you can totally take full control if you need to.
if you need exactly,
It
exactly.
it's a better default. So like what do you want your default to be? Your default is the framework actually explicitly caters for how HTML works and how these different HTML elements behave when change is emitted and how you so it's configured for you. You can do it. If you need fine-grained control because for some reason the default doesn't work, you can still do that as well. But
Yeah.
which one do you want to be the default?
Yeah, and that really depends on the kind of programmer you are, right? I think of like my friend AJ and O'Neill, who's like, I don't want magic, just give me the binary, you know. And then there's the rest of us who are like, I like the declarative abstraction. Me personally, I'm in the middle, right? Like I prefer
Mm,
writing on change and like at that level, and I feel like Vue is a level higher, which
yeah.
undoubtedly is way more convenient. It just brings me some anxiety toward like, oh, but is this actually good? And of course it's good because there's thousands of open source maintainers making sure it's good. But for me,
Yeah.
I feel like a little bit like some dude shows up and is like, hey, give me all your money, trust me, it's gonna be okay. You know, like
So what I mean, you can see it's pretty transparent. If you go to sfc.vue.js.org, you can see what happens, what kind of transformations happen when you
SFC.
write some Vue code. What does that get compiled to at the end of the day?
Ah,
Which is quite a useful way of knowing what's going on. So that is how a single file component, with its script and template block, is transpiled to JS.
yeah. I wanna see what it tells me. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to infer what this is. But thankfully we have AI for this. The new one too, version 4. Um,
Mhm.
okay, well, thanks. I don't really care about import statements, dude.
Exactly. I can read that better for myself. What comes out at the end of the day. So there's some things about this that would be worth that you. There are some optimizations that the compiler does when you're using SFCs, by the way, which you don't get if you're using JSX. And again, it's all about that trade-off between full control.
Yeah.
Because when you're writing a render statement yourself, a render function yourself, you're saying, I know how to render this function every time.
Right.
So I'm responsible for writing the best possible code.
Right.
Whereas when the compiler only produces a render function from the SFC, right? So it everything gets transformed into a render function at the end of the day.
Right.
But when the compiler does it from an SFC, it's able to optimize a lot of things. So it's able, for example, to spot um, uh, things like bits of HTML that are static. They're not going to change. They're not reactive. So actually, you don't need to be rendering them every time in a render function. You can hoist them entirely out of the render function and preserve them as static nodes, which is a nice optimization that you don't have to think about as a dev. And there are other kinds of optimizations like that that Vue will do for you if the compiler is able to do, if you let the compiler do that. So use SFCs. I mean, you don't have to. You can take full control of the render, but it's
Yeah,
nice.
but then
Nice
you also, so what I understand from SFCs is you're kind of navigated closer to a pit of success. Like you just accidentally win because Vue handles optimizations and things for you. Whereas if you manually write your render, you don't get that. You can maybe shoot yourself in the foot more easily. Is that accurate?
I think, yeah, exactly. So it, yeah, I think the pit of success is something what sort of, I guess, you're aiming for there.
Yeah.
But again, you don't have to.
Okay.
So if you're the kind of dev who likes to take full control, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, JSX is totally legit. There are a lot of people in the Vue community who like JSX, and so there's a lot of support for it.
Awesome. The thing that I really love is the type safe JSX. Because like when I started to use Vue earlier, like this is years ago, bro, the TypeScript story was trash. And for me, this was like the moment where I decided, you know what? I'm gonna stick with React. But the fact that I don't know if, so question for you, this type generation thing, is that a Nuxt thing? Or if I set up a Vue app like, npm create Vue app or something like this, would I get it with that as well?
Yeah. So the type story in Vue 3 is just a different level from Vue 2. So you will get huge. So there's a lot of things that Nuxt does that Vue won't do on its own for you. But type safety in your Vue SFCs is not one of those. So type safety in your Vue SFCs, that is powered by the extension you installed, that VS Code recommended you installed a moment ago, called Volar, which isn't just in your IDE. It is actually, you can actually run it as a type check step. It's called Vue-TSC. And so which means that you get full type safety in your template, in your IDE, and actually as part of your build as well.
Oh, nice.
So it basically makes all of that information available to TypeScript, the TypeScript language server. So when you are running your type checking, you actually get real full type checking all the way through. So for example, if you were to go and pass a number to a component that's accepting a string as a prop, even in a Vue SFC, you get type checking for that.
Right.
That might have been something that was missing before when you tried SFCs, and that might be where you were wanting JSX. Well, actually now that works in SFCs too.
Yeah.
So in a .vue file.
Yeah, no, the reason I want JSX is because it just feels like JSX, like speaking from a real engineering day-to-day perspective, like it's just a more transferable skill. Like if you know JSX, you're gonna be able to write solid, you're gonna be able to write quick, React, Preact, even something like lit HTML, right? Just ultimately
Yeah.
follows the declarative JSX style syntax. So I have really no reason to learn SFC if I want to be like, quote unquote transferable skill rich, unless I choose, okay, Vue is the thing for my entire career, which that's a big decision. So what would be,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
no. I mean, I think it doesn't take that much mental overhead to swap between them, but I don't know. You might find, I think Vue syntax feels like HTML. It feels more like HTML than JSX does.
Okay.
So if you're picking Vue syntax, it's not necessarily that you're picking Vue. you might also think of it as picking HTML, which is not a bad choice. So when I think Vue SFCs are easier for newcomers to JavaScript framework or JavaScript rendering library world, because basically with your different blocks, your script, template, and uh, and I think Ian agrees with me here. Script, template, and style is these are almost native languages. So style, for example, it's just CSS that you put in there, and template, it's HTML that is enhanced with some Vue-specific things that we can document. But actually, everything you put in there is valid HTML. You could take it out and drop it into an HTML document. And that was because that was how Vue was actually designed to enhance real HTML on the page. The same is true, well, your script block also is sort of, that's where the JavaScript lives.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a bit of a fiction, because I guess the whole thing is transformed to JavaScript. The CSS stays in a CSS file. Like it's compiled to
Yeah.
CSS, but
My only doubt here is that, and this is probably because I'm in a React bubble, is that more people are writing JSX than are writing HTML. And I realize, like, even just as this comes out of my mouth, I realize there's a bunch of VS, maybe, but that's my suspicion because I'm so deep in
well,
the React bubble.
it's totally fine. But I wouldn't want someone to think Vue syntax, the Vue SFC syntax is something that is Vue specific. I would want them to think, actually, this is more like HTML syntax.
Right. This is how
So
it would be.
with some optional extras, it's totally fine to use Vue SFCs and Vue syntax, and it's totally fine to use JSX, and it's also fine to switch between them. I don't think it's as big a deal as making a choice for the rest of your career. Either way, you don't have to pick and choose. You know, what kind of dev am I doing? I'm very happy writing JSX. I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm also very happy writing Vue SFCs, and I don't feel that there is a big deal. I guess the main, yeah, honestly, there are very, you could in 5 bullet points, you could express the differences between them in terms of syntax, and then in terms of the like Vue specific things, it's not complex. I mean, I could show you maybe how you could do some of the things that you would want to do in JSX in a Vue template.
Yeah, which is, I think, what that's probably a good next step is to make this thing reactive. And because like there's questions here from Ian about fine-grained reactivity and so on. So what I think might make sense, so we have some state, right? Let's check the reactivity. So what I've been doing to test reactivity, so to speak, um,
Mm.
or more specifically the fine-grainedness thereof is this. So in my videos I've been doing, and I did this with React and it wasn't a good look. So I do things like array.from and I'll add like 10,000 elements here. And then I'll just do like, and inside the list items, I'll do math.random. And the test is for fine-grained reactivity. In the case of React, you just get like a new random number every time state changes. Oh, look, it's also in Vue apparently. This is not fine-grained reactivity because these numbers have no reason to change.
It is fine grained. It should be fine grained reactivity, but maybe we should take it to an SFC.
Come on, that can't be the answer.
It is, because you're basically saying this is the render function. So you're saying this, I'm taking full control of what is going to run when I render this component. You're not letting the compiler do any optimization here.
Okay,
So you're not letting the compiler say this is static and this is dynamic.
so the only way to opt into fine-grained reactivity in Vue is to use SFCs.
Well, no, you could manually optimize this out.
Well, let's do that because what I want to do is we'll add. So I want to add an app with state, with Tailwind CSS maybe, and then take the exact same app, which could even be this component, right? And
Mhm.
and and implement it with TypeScript this way, and as an SFC, and then we can kind of look at we can compare the syntax and the closeness to HTML and the reactivity and so on, and then we can wrap it up. I think that would be good enough for me to like want to
You're
critique.
fighting really hard to not to be in that pit of success, Tejas, which is okay. Like, you don't have to,
Yeah.
but like it's not that hard to make this work. But if you want to, just copy that rendering the h1 and ul and pull it out of the render function.
Copy the H. Okay, so we'll. But if I
And
put.
create that v node up there in setup. So after const name is ref, and just say const. It probably needs to be wrapped in fragment, I guess, but we've got something there, and then stick it down there.
This is so cool. I like this. This is fun. Okay.
I've never actually tried this, but I'm pretty sure it should work.
Yeah, it's not reactive.
Show me the console log. What's going on?
There's a console.
I think yeah. It's not a Oh, this is a different thing. This is basically that we're having server and client rendering. So the thing is, you're using random numbers.
Yeah.
And so on the server, they're rendered as one thing. And those random numbers are different on the client. And you're saying, wait a second, I can't hydrate this.
Right.
This is going to be true with any SSR framework. If you're just rendering loads of random numbers, it's not going to match between server and client. So I can show you how to handle this next.
Sure.
Okay.
Just for the record, with solid start and quick city, this is handled. Like they don't match the hydration. Of course, doesn't match the server rendered output, but they still have fine-grained reactivity, like in a broader sense. So.
This is not about fine-grained reactivity. This is basically breaking your app enough that it's not rendering. So if we fix that, let's see what happens to the fine-grained reactivity.
All right, how do we fix it?
So if we go back to your setup function, we need a different kind of state to handle these numbers. So let's drop the JavaScript thing out and basically say const array, or I'm not even sure if that's going to work, and say use state.
Oh, what?
It's a different kind of state. Okay. And you're going to pass it a function, which is going to be like an initializer function. And basically, if you return a random array, like we don't want that because it's going to have to be serialized. We just want the numbers, and then we can include the creation of the nodes in the actual code below. So yeah, we just want the yeah, that looks fine.
Okay, wow, thank you, Daniel, for entertaining my nonsense. This is so enlightening. I'm learning so much
I
here.
think we need I. We need I there, I think.
Good catch.
And I'm fingers crossed this works. Let's see.
Interesting.
There's
Like,
still one issue. What's the issue? Why is there a difference between the server? Let's go back to the okay, I'm learning it. It's something that isn't working. Let's have a look at the app again. Why is it's I think probably it's because we are using the value. Go down to input. Can we swap that out for vmodel?
where? Here?
Yeah, so drop the on input and value and just say vmodel name value. Let's try that.
It's
No,
interesting. The server doesn't have the initial state of my name, and the client does. That's the problem.
this feels really weird. Why is that? Because we're manually we're putting it in.
I know.
Um,
My theory is it's
oh,
because of this.
I think component should be it's not. I think you should make that like a JSX element. If you go back and redo everything we've done, component is not.
Would this not fix it? Because like now, oh shit. Okay, my bad. Thanks for letting me try. So what you want the component to be like an actual component like this, and then I
Oh,
call. Is this what you mean?
no. Maybe you're right.
This isn't gonna work, is it? Yeah,
No, that's not going to work.
because it's undefined. Yeah, okay. I tried. So this doesn't
Uh,
work.
to take it back to what it was before. And it may be that we just weren't looking at the console and there was this warning / error before. But yeah, keep it in use state and let's just try the changing your name, seeing what happens. No. I would need to figure out what's going on there because I'm totally not sure what the issue is.
Okay.
We are saying name value, we're setting the name value. I wonder only, is there some kind of Oh, the array from. Is that how that array works? Don't we need to map it?
This is a map. So the second argument to array.from is a map.
I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, cool.
There's a voice
So
in your background.
there is a voice speaking. It's true. Um, the problem with the mic picks things up.
Hello,
So,
John. That's what I heard. Anyway,
this is interesting. So why on earth is this not working?
I have to say, I'm really glad
Oh,
this is not just me
hmm,
being a noob. Like your amazement at this validates my noobacity with Vue. I'm really happy about
yeah, yeah. Well, basically, this we should this is not how we should be doing this.
that.
Like we should be doing this in an SFC. Like this is all covered and handled for us.
Let's do both. Let's do this first and then an
Okay.
SFC, you know?
First, okay, okay. Well, let's have a look. So we've got our component. We're wrapping it. We have our name value. That's set. We have our components. That's set. We're returning the div, and we have an input. We have a value. We have a component. And for some reason, the value of the input on the server isn't matching the value on the client.
But
Can we just drop?
but it's only
I just want to see what happens if we drop value and on input entirely from the render function and see what happens. It should hydrate, right? And it's not.
yeah,
Actually, check the dev server. I bet there's some kind of error.
let's do it. So let's go here. Nope.
No? Could you restart it for me? Just
Sure, sure.
humor me.
Do this and wow, there's a preloader. That was cool. Yeah.
So, okay, this is actually not even working in apart from the input. So it's in the H1 that it's not there. Can we go back to the component again? Sorry, this is
That's no, this is
frustrating
totally
me.
fun. This is why we're here.
So,
Just one shout out to Ian. Um, bro, it's not at all like doing React.create element. Okay, I'm using JSX. That's an unfair comparison. I'm gonna need you to address that because like I'm writing JSX. This is like writing native React. Dot create elements a level deeper. Anyway, what were you saying, Daniel?
okay, so let's have a look again. So I think there's some kind of issue with personally. I think there's some kind of issue with this component bit. Um, so and I think basically we have got. I don't see why,
Yeah,
but
like
if
like
yeah, leave the input. That's fine. Comment out. What do we want to comment out? Ah,
look, it's really interesting that like if we look at the error, right? The error
mm,
is this on the server render is empty. And this is literally here. Like so the server says hello nothing, the client says hello with the default value. Like why is that? That's what I don't understand. Like where this is probably some internal magic that is doing something with server rendering, but I'm very clearly here initializing this with a
yeah,
default
yeah.
value. Can this
You're initializing it.
can this
I think it's the issue is probably what I've told you to do, which is to do const component equals. So I bet you that is basically causing an error in like or at least how that is then included in the
but
returning render
okay,
function.
but in case not, what if I just take this? This is the problem, right? On the server render, this is empty. So what if I do this and instead of component, I just put it here?
Okay,
That should
have a look.
fix it. I mean, so okay, let's try and let's come back.
Which is actually true. That's why it wasn't updating, right? Because we deliberately pulled it out from the from the reactivity.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, totally.
So now you have the fine-grained reactivity looking for. The vnode is out, and it was our mistake, right? That was why it wasn't updating when we checked it the first time.
Well, to
The
be
last 15 minutes of our lives could be taken
yeah,
back to
but
us.
to be fair, we still don't know why the server sends an empty text node instead of the default ref value.
We don't.
Okay.
That's strange.
I'll open an issue on Nuxt for you. Um, Cool.
I look forward to it.
How
I
do
look forward to it greatly.
how how do I open and really my issue the body of the issue will just be a link to the live stream. I'm joking. No, but okay. This is good. I want to handle two more things in this React style. Um,
Hmm.
but I want to do styling with Tailwind if we can, like that, and data
Yeah.
fetching with this style. Data fetching and of course like state updates and so on around it, like start fetching, finish fetching, all of that. And then we can do the same thing with SFCs, which I understand is way faster and better. Um,
Hmm.
and then I think we'll have a good enough feel. I will have a good enough feel of Vue to actually like build something with it. Does that sound
Yeah.
like something we can do? Do you have time?
Yeah, totally.
Let's do it.
I'm here.
So let's start by adding a network request. I think that's probably lower friction. Um, how do we? So let me take a stab at it, and then you tell me where I'm wrong. Before that, Ian is asking a question. Would Solid do the same if you just put JSX with a reactive variable in a const rather than return? I guess.
Yeah. So basically, JSX would not be reactive at that point. So in Solid, if you do const whatever equals and then a reactive variable, that's going to be fixed at that time because that's not going to be rerun every time the component renders.
Yeah. So what?
So just like this, right? So we are effectively what we are doing here is hoisting this part of SFC out of the render function.
Right, and this
And
is
we're doing that because we know it doesn't change. And so it's not going to be rerun. Why would it be rerun? It's the setup function only runs once.
right, and this is also not a component. It's literally an assignment. We're assigning this
It's a
JSX.
vnode.
Eg-
So if you're renaming it, you'd be const vnode equals. So we've created a vnode, and then we are going to use it later in our render function.
Right, and outside of Vue, this is just a JSX node with a static value binding. It's not a function that can
Yeah.
be reevaluated. It's just like a one-time assignment, which is why awesome. Good. I'm glad we sorted. Let's look at data fetching in here. What I want to do is we can maybe replace our random array with a list of dog breeds. So
Okay.
what I I, I like your skepticism. You're like, okay, why not? Um,
Well, now, Tejas, we're fine with numbers, but if it comes to dog breeds, I'm not sure Vue is going to be able to cope with, the complexity of the task.
yeah, let's find out. What I want. So let's make a little app too. I get a list. We can copy the master detail pattern, which I hate the name of the master detail pattern, but whatever. Which is we render a list of dog breeds that we fetch, and then you click on one and you get a picture. Um, I know my favorite API in the whole world, the dog API, dog.ceo. So we can query that and build this, and then once that's done, we style it a bit and then put it to an SFC and call it a day. Okay, so
Okay,
where do I fetch data? Do I just fetch data here? Like,
you
uh,
can, yeah,
what? Nuts. So is it more like an async function then? Oof.
yeah.
Bro, I enjoy the idiomaticity of this. So dog, wow, look at you. Um,
GitHub Copilot has got your back, right?
cool. And then we'll dot then. No. Yeah, actually we can just dot then and unwrap.
Well, I'm going to make your life easier. So don't use fetch, use $ fetch.
Oof.
And if you do that, then you don't need the dot then. You don't need to hit JSON because it will actually look at the response. And if it's JSON, it will like, pass it for you.
This is again more Vue magic, everybody. Let's
This
see.
is Nuxt magic in this particular case.
Ooh. Wow, look at this. This is so cool. I like Affenpinscher. That
That is, I don't know. I feel that that might be a dangerous dog. I don't know. It
it,
might be a. Like, it feels like that could be a guard dog.
it means monkey pincher, I think.
So maybe it's not. Maybe that's going to be a sweet little dog of some kind.
I have to
But
say,
yeah. Okay. So we've got
Daniel, I'm really enjoying this data fetching story. This is awesome.
that runs, by the way, on the server. It will defer rendering the response. So when you are now, in fact, we can make this a little bit better.
Okay.
So
Let
this
me
is going to run at the moment on the server
right.
and on the client because we've just written some code and it's going to run twice. But we don't want to do that. If we fetch data on the server, we don't have to fetch it on the client. So instead of $fetch, use fetch.
Okay.
And you can still await it. In fact, you still need to await it because you're going to use it probably. And now destructure data from the response. It also comes with some other things like an error property, refresh function, and some things like that. But now you'll get the data, but it won't run on the client side. It will just include the data in JSON payload in the HTML, and then you won't need to refetch it on the client.
What? Why is value? Oh, it's unknown.
We just don't know what it is. And so TypeScript is telling you that. I mean, you can pass it as a generic use fetch and say this is what it's going to be, or you can validate it using a tool like Zod, and you'll know what the
Something like this.
yeah.
What? But now you know. What's wrong with you? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it can technically be null if there's an error, for example. But the
I'm super naive and I never handle errors because I'm a junior developer for life. Let's go. Oof,
that
bro. This is so awesome. Okay, wait. Why is this not reactive anymore? It's probably my mistake. It's definitely my look.
no, we move the H1 back, like stick it in the render function. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, this is amazing. And it's amazing for multiple reasons. Because, dude, I have like async await in render. Oof. And if I understand correctly, async await in render even on the client. Oof, this for me, listen, this is better than React. Done deal. Um, I, I have concerns with refetching. So now if
Mhm.
I've sent the data from the server, I'm on the client, I've not hydrated. I not yet anyway. And then I trigger a refetch and then a subsequent re-render, but the fetching only happens on the server. How?
So the the code that fetches it is still on the client, so you can still rerun it. And the way it works is that we inject a magic key into this useFetch function, which allows us to match the data up between server and client.
And this also then
So
allows you to also probably defer rendering if the client receives the streamed response earlier.
the response is not streamed from the server. The
Oh,
response, this will actually happen on the client.
okay.
Um, so if you perform like for example, if you have something, we have a really interesting server set of things that I haven't talked about yet. So you can basically make sure this always does run on a server. Actually, I implemented Bling for Nuxt just the other day, just on Monday in my stream. I have yet to make a PR to the upstream project, but you could do something like that if
You
you wanted to.
implemented Bling? What is Bling?
Oh, well. Bling is basically a way of writing functions that will always run on the server, but co-locating them in your front-end code. So you basically define a function, and you can call it, but it is in fact always going to be executed on the server.
Cool. Um, I like that. All right. So I just tested it. It works great with JavaScript. I would like to explore that more, but I really want to get this master detail thing working.
Cool.
Um, so we have this coming from the server with use fetch and then hydrating again on the client. If we wanted to fetch only on the server, we would
Hmm?
then use dollar fetch. Is that right?
No, $fetch will fetch on both sides. This one will only use fetch will only fetch on the server. It will only fetch once rather.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. That makes sense. So what I'm gonna do is delete this array. This looks dude, you honestly listen, Daniel, you had me at async 08 and this data fetching story is unbelievable. Like in React we only get this with server components for now.
Mm.
But the fact that you can do it in both view, I mean, gosh, wow. Okay. So this is great. What I want to do is attach a click event probably to these such that I see a picture when I click on it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and where should the picture be? So what I'm going to do is
Just make that a V model already with your input. I can't cope with the value and on input thing going on. Just V model it, name that value.
I'm Okay.
So just name, not name.value, because it needs to be the reactive bit. Okay. It's so much nicer, isn't it? As shorter. Okay. Right. We need to have a something that is ooh, yeah.
I just need two columns.
Hmm.
Column. What is it? Grid template columns. That's the one. I don't know, 200 pixels auto. And then we'll do gap
I thought
60.
you wanted to do Tailwind.
We will. This is just the beta.
Okay.
Um, sup. I'm an image. Show me. Ah, beautiful. That's some of the best UI engineering work you'll ever see in your life, isn't it? Um, cool. So what I want to do here is on click of this. Oh, I'm about to do something nasty. Is this correct? I have no idea. But I'm doing I'm doing things the Reacty way, Daniel. And I want to hear you correct me.
This
Um,
is fine. You can do this.
active,
But you'll probably need a ref.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And so we'll do ref is sure, why not? This for now, and then we'll say active image, and then we'll do active image. Oh no, we'll do an image node. Uh, current.
But Baron, like you're putting some reactivity stuff in here. This is the bit that we've specifically hoisted out of reactivity.
Good shout.
So you probably want to copy that down into the yeah.
Good shout. I appreciate that. So we'll
Yeah, matching. Oh, there's a missing curly brace. Yeah.
and yeah, right. So we'll do that, and then what? Oh, there, it's a ternary
Yes.
operation. Sup, I'm a placeholder. So current breed, and then SRC is I think it's HTTPS dog.co. Oof. God bless you, Copilot. Okay, this looks good. And then on click here. Wait, hang on, stop. I wanna do this. I wanna make you proud, Papa Daniel. Current breed dot value equals oof I. So this seems like it should work. That's current breed. What's your problem? Ah, it's dot value. Wow, TypeScript is really coming to the rescue here. So now
TypeScript is a good deal, isn't it? Um,
this is
oh, let's. It's doing object. Oh, how are we setting the current breed?
good question.
We're clicking something,
No. Yeah,
and
we
then
are. Yeah.
and then where are we? Did I wrongly put like a? Yeah, seems good. Okay, what's? Why is there an extra dot value missing somewhere?
Maybe. Uh,
Current API breed. There we go.
okay, we're
Okay.
closer, but image breed. It's just my endpoint is wrong, which is fine. But what happened here? Why is this now object?
Change that. I think it's probably when we HMR, we HMR'd something. If you could, maybe try it.
I don't know. Oh, look, it was that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Um, looks good. I just want to fix this link because I'm a completionist, Daniel.
Mm.
And also, you know what? Let's teach people the right accessibility. Doing this on click on an LI is a bunch of BS. You don't want to do
Yeah.
that. Let's do that.
It's true.
Uh,
Ah.
there we go. Let's do
Oh, and can we? Yeah. There's so much we could get into there in terms of.
in terms of correct syntax. Listen, you need to realize I am a junior developer for life. I just say that
I
to
don't believe that for a moment. You're writing a book on like cross framework reactivity. Like this is deep dive internal stuff.
thanks.
Junior developer indeed.
So what we want to do is dog.ceo and check the docs for the image dog API. In case y'all have,
Basically,
yeah, what?
this is Copilot letting us down, right? It didn't give us the right endpoint. Oh,
100%. So breeds, there's an by breed. Oof. So breed
oh dear.
breed name and then images and then the first one in message. Oof.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if we can blind code this. Um, so we are fetching here. So it's you can only get it with
By
network.
the way,
Mhm.
before we do that, I just spotted an opportunity to improve things a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a look at the fetch request you're making at the moment, we then immediately restrict it to only the message. Whereas in fact, we can do this in the fetch call directly. UseFetch takes a second argument of options. So if you pass an options argument, an options object as the second argument there,
Oh,
and I'll tell you why this matters. And basically pass a transform. There's a transform method we can pass, and we can basically take the response and return just res.message.
nice.
And that means we don't, or actually just object keys res.message, and that means we don't need a separate thing in the in line. And it also means that and I would just at this point, and I would basically at this point, I think now we can just say it returns an array of strings rather than the object thing there. And the reason why it matters is, and I think there's no message, it just returns an array of strings, is that now we're only passing from the server to the client in JSON the minimal amount of data that we need to render this component, rather than a huge object of payload that we then on the client side narrow down.
Yeah, this is
so
some,
it
yeah,
feels is better.
that's awesome.
And I would really recommend also not removing the reactivity from I mean, it doesn't matter here because we're not going to refetch.
Daniel,
But
we have a chicken and an egg problem because it thinks now res is an array of strings, but it's not. What I'm getting from the server from this is, I guess I can maybe type it here.
Yeah, we could yeah, paste that there. I think you're right.
Okay. Nope. It wants to, gosh, it wants to infer this from the generic.
For goodness sake.
And
drop the manual typing of it in that case, and just type the transform function instead, and it will infer the response. Okay. So I think if you type res as in say what it's going to be, yeah, and then it should hopefully
nice
have types on that. Okay, so right, so and just to say, in this case, we're not going to be, we don't want the breed list to be dynamic because we're only fetching it once. This is literally a one shot. But if we did, it wouldn't make sense to do const breeds equals data value because that freezes it at the moment. What I would instead do is rename data to breeds, and then just use the breed start value. And that ensures that we would, so just data colon breeds in the destructure. And then we basically just change breeds.value, and we will then keep reactivity. It's not relevant here, totally not, because okay, but just in case anyone is watching, it's a foot gun I see sometimes with people.
Yeah,
not you, but just saying.
I hugely appreciate your sensitivity to foot guns, I have to say. Cool. Now,
so now we need basically when someone clicks the breed to perform a request, yes, to get the endpoint, right? Yes. So do we want to cache this or just perform a fresh request every time someone gets the clicks that?
I think we want to perform a fresh request every time someone clicks, and we need to fetch this endpoint and get its message.
Okay. Well, that's just a random image. Oh, but from a breed collection. Okay, that's cool. Let's do that. So basically we can inline write a request handler. So like async function.
Can I try it the way I would naturally go about it and then
yeah,
correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so const get breed image, wait, use fetch with this endpoint. Oh, I can even use your fancy reactive options here. And instead of this, it would be current breed. We don't use string literals with interpolation because I'm a junior dev for life. And also, you don't always need to use it, people. Anyway, so we have this, and then it is message, right? Yeah, it is message. Awesome. This looks exactly like what I want. So now I'm gonna go here.
I can tell you it should be current breed.value probably.
Current breed.value. Oh, right. Thank you. Man, I love pair programming with you. I say.
And it should also be the data, destructure the data out of it, rather than the entire object. Yeah, well, that would work fine too.
What is your problem, SRC? You want a string? What? It's a ref?
So we've typed it as returning object keys, right? We don't want object keys. We actually just want the message, and the message is going to be a string. Oh no, the message is an array. Where's the message?
It's a string. It's a string.
Is it an array of?
It's a string. And then we come here and we say what? Dot data dot value.
Exclamation mark. It's a really important value.
Null. Ooh. Okay. Is it working? Let's take a look. Come here. So close.
No.
So close.
What's it doing? What's the matter?
There's no SRC attribute.
No.
It's probably my fault.
Oh, there is. It's not your fault. It's if we go back up to that use fetch, we are basically fixing that string at runtime. When we call use fetch, we are just that is it. Well, all we need to do is make it a function. Not that way. Just make the first argument to use fetch a function.
Oh, okay.
So just say just an inline arrow function, and now it will reevaluate it.
Wow, that's really convenient. Let's try.
I think it will do that.
That's an Affenpinscher. Wow, what a beauty.
It's not a guard dog. It's not a guard dog. Let's be very clear about that. I was totally wrong. I know when to acknowledge my mistakes. It's not a guard dog.
This is bro, this is actually really fast. And I'm communicating with a server. So that's really, yeah, an Affenpinscher is really not a guard dog. It's more of a little floof. What's your favorite
It does
breed?
look like a monkey though. I get that it looks like mine. I've got a golden retriever, so I am a big fan of golden retrievers. It might just be listed as retriever. It's not. Yeah, retriever is a retriever.
This is my favorite, the Doge. All right, let's go check a retriever. Retriever. Oh, there we go. Black one. Nice. That's awesome, dude. This is kind of working. I mean, there's some questionable UX because like I have to scroll up. We can actually we can do a tiny digression and fix this with a little bit of CSS. And that is really, really small. We just do style. I think it's columns 3. Oof. Nice. Columns 4. And we can adjust our grid a little bit. Instead of 300, let's do 400 pixels. Okay. And now I can just look at this. It's so much better. I don't need to scroll that much. Ish. Anyway. Oh, this is a funny boy. Look at you. Cool. I digs it. Questions from the audience is probably a good time. Zanfras he says the Affenpinscher looks dangerous. I agree. Cool. Jonathan is asking, does Nuxt 3.3 include link prefetching?
Basically, if you have it actually has 2 kinds of link prefetching. So one is it will prefetch links within your so if you had a link using the Nuxt link component and it's on the screen and it comes into visibility, Nuxt will prefetch the JavaScript files required to render that page. So that when you click the link, it then already doesn't need to perform any network requests. It actually just already has the JS to render the page for you. It's not relevant in this one. There is no routing in this particular app. It's a single app. Actually, because you haven't created a pages directory, Tejas, we don't even have view router in this app. It optimizes it out because you don't need it. This is just a single page.
Wild.
Save those precious bundles. We have a sort of compatibility universal router, so you can access like a root, and you could even implement your own router if you wanted. But yeah, it optimizes it out. But if someone did have multiple pages and links, it would handle link prefetching for you. We also do another kind of link prefetching, which you have to enable with an experimental option in Nuxt, which is we can actually prefetch external links using an experimental browser API called the speculation API. And if you enable that, it will, like browsers don't do a whole lot with it yet, but they do support it. And speculation hints allows you to tell the browser if the user might click this is available to be clicked, which means a browser is then able to optimize your experience as a user by maybe fetching that web page in the background, so that when you click the external link, you get an instant web page.
Wow.
And that supports that too, but it's more experimental because it's at the it's edge of browser testing. But it means people can opt in and maybe test or see what difference it makes for their users if they want to.
That's amazing. And it's really like it makes me feel good that the Nuxt team is like on this, so that I don't have to be. Um, Great. Now we have this. What I want to do is add Tailwind, and then
Yeah.
add routing. So a route for the, man, I have allergies. A route for the SFC and a route for the React one. Um,
Okay.
and then we can go from there, because like I understand you can do both, so why not? Let's start with Tailwind again. Let's try to do it such that I try it my way and then you correct me. You just like slap the wrist. Okay.
I don't slap your wrist, Tatus. I've never done that.
It's okay, Daniel.
Okay.
People don't need to know about what we do when they're not watching. NP Tailwind. It's Tailwind CSS, right?
No. Delete. Stop. What are you doing? This
You
is the
slapped
slap
my
your wrist
wrist.
button.
See, I told you.
We actually, this is an opportunity to use a Nuxt module. So we have a built module for Tailwind that will just integrate it for you and decrease what you need to do. So instead of installing Tailwind CSS, install at Nuxt.js/Tailwind CSS. And it will install Tailwind CSS too, but it's a Nuxt module, so we can explore how that looks and what it does.
Developer dependency or no?
Yep, that works. Nuxt is effectively a developer dependency now, because you're actually, it's up to you how you organize it, but when you build a Nuxt app, it will, it's I think it should be fine. You probably just, yeah, it's probably reset your .NUG. What's going on? What's going on in that VS Code? What have we done?
I didn't do anything in VS Code, dude. It's just I
No, let's have a look.
in VS Code.
Yeah,
Okay, here nothing. I
what's
changed
happened?
absolutely nothing. I just installed the dependency. You're seeing
That's weird. I'm going to take responsibility for this, whatever it is. Let's go into your Nuxt config.
There's a Nuxt config. Okay.
And you have a Nuxt config file. If you create a property called modules, and you drop in a string, which is at Nuxt.js /Tailwind CSS, and we restart our dev server, or it's already running somewhere.
Oh, okay, that's not a problem.
What is that? What's going on? So anyway, Tailwind CSS is set up for you. But what's happening?
I think my fetch might be failing. Probably.
Oh, we're performing multiple use fetches. Okay, if you go back into your app.tsx,
Yeah.
the breed image, don't await it. Just say breed image is use fetch.
What? Dude, okay, timeout.
I can explain this. But
Please.
you're not gonna like what I have to say.
Uh,
I can tell you that.
so close, man. You had me with like async fetching and so. By the way, it's still 500ing. I don't know if that was intended. Restart.
Okay, let's have a look again. Where's your other use fetch?
Hang on, I'm just restarting it. Okay, yeah. Let's go. So here, these are
So you've got two use fetches. What's happening below there? Oh, sorry, put breed image first before the other one. So basically, it is important when you are doing server side that this should work fine. And I'm going to explain why, and you're not going to like it. Because you're taking manual control. And this isn't normally something anybody would face. But here's what's going on.
Wait. Why is this not something I just faced it normally? I just did the thing you said that nobody would ever do, just trying to fetch data from a dog API. So
Yeah. No, that's completely reasonable. So here's what's going on. When you're having a request come in and you're responding to it, we need to avoid multiple like cross request state pollution. So you need to know what request the data fits into. And when we're performing these special calls to things like use fetch, we are attaching the response to the actual response rendered to the client. So you can perform any async call you want, but these particular ones need to be called in a context where we are able to know what instance, what specific request is happening. So whenever if you have an await in front of one of these things, in front of one of these Nuxt composables, then you normally would lose access to the current instance because it's now not happening in a synchronous moment. It's happening at some undefined point in the future when that await resolves. Now, in an SFC, we actually inject a transform because we have compiler optimization for this. So we inject a transform that basically restores the state after the instance after the await. So we're like, okay, grab the current request, await the response, now restore the current request, and then we can perform further things. You can do this yourself with a composable called call with Nuxt. Or you can rearrange them in this particular case because we don't actually need to, the dog breed picture to be awaited on the initial request.
Okay.
It's a it, it's a pain. It's a pain. I'm sorry you encountered this,
No,
but
but I want to
it's
understand it more. So we moved the breed image above. Um,
so when that useFetch function is called, um, it has access to the current instance as long as it's still in the same tick as the setup function is being run. So in this case, breed image, use fetch, it's got the instance. The next use fetch is also called it's got the instance. And then it awaits the response. And at that point, the instance is lost. So any composables that need access to that request have to be manually passed the instance from this point onward. So we can do that with a transform, which we do within we have define Nuxt plugin, we've got define Nuxt root middleware, we transform those. Vue does this in script setup blocks. It injects this transform, but it's a Vue limitation as well. So basically, if you have a manual options API component like this one, where you have your own script setup, then you lose access to the instance after the first wait. So use an SFC and you won't encounter it, but you can also handle the issue with a method called call with Nuxt, where you can basically, so what you would be able to do is it'd be like const data breeds equals call with Nuxt, and you pass the instance in. And so you could yourself pull the instance at the top of the file and then pass it through to however many functions you need to
okay. So
initialize with.
yeah, so I hear that the problem goes away with SFC, which is probably the way this was designed to be used in the first place. What I don't like is that it's again this abstraction, right? Where it's like trust me, trust me, trust me until I fail, and then you have to figure out this shit yourself. And then you have to hear like a big explanation about internal details that at this level of abstraction I don't care about. So in a way, it's like when an abstraction is so kind to you, it can also very quickly become really mean to you when the internals don't work the way you expect. And that's kind of what's happening here. I appreciate that there's a solution, but this is exactly why I'm terrified of like higher and higher and higher levels of abstraction. And that's not to say I'm like, let's write everything as binary. But like, I feel like, we joke the biggest problems in engineering is cache invalidation, naming things and off by one errors, the two biggest problems. But I think really the biggest problem is finding the right level of abstraction. Because like you run to cases like this, if it's too high and then you don't have a reasonable story. I think as a suggestion from me, a noob, instead of just this 500, like some logging of this is happening, you might want to do this.
I was just thinking exactly the same. So basically, we have a section in the docs which explains what's going on and how to solve it. So we should link to that. And shouldn't be a nasty error like this. We actually, I've been seeing other from Astro, for example, has some amazing error messages, like really nice screens. And we have an issue open to improve, and I mean not just from Astro, but I'm giving you him as an example of good. But we have an issue open to improve the error handling in dev mode, so you actually get a bit more hand holding.
This is
because
awesome.
these things are soluble.
Yeah.
You just need to know how to do it. and people shouldn't need to watch a stream with Daniel and Tejas to know how to solve
I
that.
think I think to add to that, Astro has this amazing assistant called Houston, right? And that's probably something y'all can benefit from. What I'm waiting to see, just as a complete unrelated aside, is
Mm-hmm.
is console output on error, where if there's an internet connection, the the console output also reaches out to ChatGPT and says this is how you may be able to solve it. Oof. Like this will happen and I'm here for it. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for explaining that. I'm glad it's working. And look, we have Tailwind. It's awesome. Everything is reset and it still works as expected. So this is good. Um, and it was actually effortless. So now my suspicion is, and I hope it's true, that I don't need to do anything else because I'm lazy. So let's try. So class. Oh, it's just class? Nice. Oof. I have auto completion. This is so good. Leading none P. Tailwind just makes you
I
fly, doesn't it? Except it doesn't, because I damn.
refresh the page maybe.
No, no, I did. Um, I'm refreshing. You see this address bar bouncing?
Mm.
That means I'm
We
refreshing.
might need we might need to do one thing because probably the Tailwind module for Nuxt isn't expecting TSX. That's the only thing I can think of. If you go into your Nuxt config,
Yeah.
oh, you don't need to restart.
Okay. Next config.
Go into your Nuxt config.
Oh.
You should see that there's a new so after modules, start typing a new key called Tailwind CSS
Mm-hmm.
to the end of the array. Now you should, I think it's Tailwind CSS. Oh, you need a comma
All right.
after.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
There's other places like I got it. So basically, now you have got typed access to the options for this particular module that you installed. So I think we need to set what is it? There's like a paths array. We need to tell it where to scan.
Oh, right,
Um,
right. Yeah.
as in Tailwind has got some kind of
Isn't it files or
what is it? Config. Just type config, I think, and then it has got some kind of content. Is it like just do like app.tsx.
oh, it worked. Daniel, you genius. Right. So let's make this nice now. Grid gap. Oh, oof. I just like flying with Tailwind is probably one of my favorite things in the world. Let's make this H1 nice and big. I'm just gonna spend like the next 2 minutes just having fun.
Um, I have another module for you to install
Okay.
if you want. Do you want to try the Nuxt devtools?
Yes. But first I really want to make this look look nice.
Okay.
Um, it will just take like a second, you know. I just want to play capitalize. Oof. And then let's make this button actually look like something you can click. Actually, no, let's not do that. I like it. Let's do columns. Actually, we don't need style. Oh, look at this. We actually have responsive now. Column. Oof. Hmm. Why not? And then okay, I'm almost done, Daniel. I promise you. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense. I just
It's not.
it's Tailwind, you know. You just have to
It's Tailwind, right? Yeah, you gotta love it.
pulse six. Oh my goodness.
What is this?
No, no, that's fine. Okay, so this looks good. Water dog. That's a water dog? Water dog. Um, so good. So good. I mean, we have some text. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do is text overflow, okay? And then we can move on. Text ellipsis it is, I believe. Oof, man, TypeScript and Tailwind. What an experience. What an experience that's not working. Um, we'll just
What's the matter?
um, I don't know.
Ah,
I want this is fine. I'll just move the picture just above and then we'll be in business to do what you just wanted to do. Look, does it work? Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's good enough. Oh, hmm. I don't like the layout shift, but you know what? We've spent enough time on this. It's fine. I'll just cut my losses. Okay, cool. So, what did you want to show me?
I wanted to show you actually that Nuxt devtools will help with Tailwind.
Oh,
So if you go and go back to your console, kill the dev server, and install at Nuxt/devtools.
Okay. PMPMI at Nuxt devtools. You're an awesome evangelist, by the way, of this. I'm really enjoying. I will build my next thing in Vue just for fun. Oof, lots of peer-to-peer.
Okay, I will take you on that. Okay, so yeah, restart the dev server. Oh, you'll need to add it in your Nuxt config as well in your modules, but
Let's do that.
you can run Nuxt dev as well. It's
Module.
no issue.
What is
At
this?
Nuxt devtools,
Why is that so used?
Node.js in this case, just at Nuxt/devtools. That basically at Nuxt.js is for community modules, and at Nuxt is for core tools. So
So like this?
so it's just at Nuxt/devtools,
Oh,
Node.js.
okay. Interesting.
And basically now you'll get a little overlay in when you're running in dev mode. At the bottom of the page, you see that little icon.
Wow.
Okay. You might need to, you can resize it. You can make it a bit bigger if you want.
Wow.
And it's an early preview, obviously, as it says. But it has a lot of, it gives you a lot of visibility into things. Like these are the plugins running in your app, the built-in composables you can use. You can see the module that you've enabled and actually click through to its docs and NPM information, etc.
Was an accident.
And you can, there's loads of stuff there. You can actually have a look. You can see all of the hooks that are being called and where time is being taken in your dev server and in your runtime app as well. And that was a list of all the virtual files that are part of the build.
Wow.
You can even see, so you can click into them if you want and actually just sort of see what the virtual files are that are part of the Nuxt build.
I want to give you a caution. I can't scroll this list, just so you know. This side panel here, it's not wanting to do that. Instead, it's going back. Yeah, when I scroll down, it like goes back in my browser. Just something for y'all to know. So this is unscrollable.
Okay, if you, yeah, we should fix that. Definitely. If you click the search, you should even be able to. Oh yeah, that's the data in the payload. You should be able to. Oh, not that search. I think there's one. Maybe it's the one above this one. You can above that maybe. Anyway, there are lots of different options there you can hook into that. This will show you which built-in composables you're using. So use app config is being used, I think, behind the scenes. You're using define component, and it shows you what is using it. So you also get a feel.
What is a composable?
Composable is something like use fetch that we are just using in app.tsx. And oh, I haven't even shown you one of the neatest things about this. If you actually click, if you actually go back to your, if you actually, let's see, click the, I think the component, I think if you maybe, is it shift, there's a keyboard shortcut for this. But if you, basically you can hover over something in your app, in the app on screen, and click, and it will take you to where it is located in your VS Code. So if I think you'll have to just click this little icon to enable it back in DevTools, and I can't remember which thing you have to click on the left hand side.
Okay, maybe it's the components. Huh? It's
try the next one. This will actually, if you click the little icon in the top right, it will give you like a visualization of how the components use each other. You're not using any components, so there's nothing there. Oh, there you go. So those are all the components that are being used, and they're not connected to each other. You only have one app.view.
Yeah.
But you could actually create, if you have components referencing each other, you get a beautiful little graph, network graph.
That is so nice.
Go, keep on clicking on the left-hand side. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one it is. Let's see what have we got. Those are the composables, modules. What's the next one? Plugins. I'm not finding it. Why can't I figure out the thing you click? Go back to search, maybe.
Which
That
search?
is that.
There's many.
The one you were just looking at, bottom, just above the VS Code icon.
Ah.
Yeah, it's not it. Rats. I think
It's okay.
I can't believe it. This is a very cool feature, but I just can't see it in the window.
I'm so
To be fair, I've never seen the DevTools so small.
we can
Um,
fix that here. Let's zoom out there.
let's look at the very bottom one, just by the way. Tailwind CSS
Wow.
module has
Yo,
injected an explorer for you. So this
this
is your Tailwind CSS config. And
what?
if you change any options, you will now be able to see exactly what the
Okay,
options are.
okay, okay. I need to test this. Dude, this is nuts. So if I come here, right, and if I say extends and colors, um Daniel. What's your favorite color, Daniel? Is it blue? Okay. So now if I come here, is it hot? Ooh, wow, that is pretty nice. Okay, so let's take
I think you'll get HMR with it, but
I don't let's look for Daniel. There should be a Daniel in here somewhere. Colors. BG pink. Daniel?
I'm not sure if you to do extends whether you need to have a separate Tailwind. Rather than doing extends, can you just say colors, Daniel?
Can I just do it here? I feel like this is already. Oh.
Don't extends. That doesn't feel like that's the right way to extend this config.
Let me just
If you
add.
don't edit this, it won't affect anything if you edit this. This is a build time only file. Can you?
Can
Does
I
it
just do this?
accept that?
It does, yeah. Um,
It feels like that's not the way to configure. Is that how you configure it?
I
It's theme. It has to go inside theme.
all right, let's do that. It should be extend, not extends, says Jonathan. Okay, let's just put it in theme.
We should get type help on this as well. So if this isn't type recognized, then we're probably doing it wrong.
I love that there's
Is it?
HMR on this, to be honest. Oh, look at that, bro.
And maybe we do need extend because I think we've just replaced all of the colors
Yeah,
with
for sure.
just me.
For sure, for sure.
Um,
It's a progress piece. It's not like we're using
or,
colors anyway. The fact that I get HMR on this is some next level stuff. So let's look for BG Daniel.
okay, there we go. It's actually working now. So, but basically, and also you can create your own Tailwind config, and it will like merge the two. But it's a nice DevTools feature. Now I really want to get that inspect type thing that I'm talking about working. If you go back to overview, keep it small just in case there's something. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Someone help me.
Yeah, someone who knows Nuxt better than its maintainer, help him.
Click components, maybe. Let's try that again.
Components.
We must be able to click this and see it. For goodness sake. I don't know what's going on. Try shift. You might actually see it in your dev server. If you open your console again, I think it might give you a little. Oh no, it's probably clear the screen. But if you scrolled up, I don't know if you can see it. If you scroll up, I don't see it. Basically, there's a you can inspect individual components and you can click into them. Maybe we just don't have any yet. That's what it is. There are no components yet. That's what. Okay, sorry. Forget this. We need to create some components,
Sure,
and then this will start working.
more than happy to.
But
let's do it. Let's do a dog photo component. So const dog photo component, right? And
let's do this differently.
okay.
Let's make it a different file, and I'll show you the joy of auto import.
Sure.
Although this might not work. It's a little bit different how it will work in this particular case. Create it in a folder called components.
Yes, Mr. Opinions. Okay. And we're just gonna move it here. Is that?
Yeah, that's good. And then we can basically, just you could make this a Vue SFC.
Fine.
Don't have to. It could be anything, but it'll be simpler. Just say like template, and then say.
No, I just want an image. So image. What is this?
It's saying we need to define a prop. So you can have a script setup prop block. And then just say define props. And then say like, that's fine. And you just we'll want to make it add the word setup after script at the top. Great. And so that is now should be fine.
Cool. And so now let's go
So,
use doggo.
so basically what we want is, yeah, that would be fine. And there's one extra thing you're going to need to do. You don't want to import it from there. At the top of the page, you can import it from hash components.
Wow.
And that will have all of your auto importable components. Normally, you don't have to import it at all, but that's meant for Vue SFCs. This should work fine
But
in a
do
ESX form.
do we see an issue there where the automatically imported thing was from .vue? Like, is that
Yeah,
intentional? Is that
that's shouldn't that's
cool?
it's not
Save.
it shouldn't do that.
So does it work? Oh, look, it does. Oh, and there's some lazy loading. What was that? I saw a loading state just then. It said loading or something. Like some text appeared before the image did.
Did it?
Yeah. I don't know if that. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it was just the alt text. I don't know. But this is working. So now if we go
So
here. Oh.
now we actually have. If you go back to click the list icon in the top right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're now back to that. Now you can see that the doggo component is there, and it's coming in. Now I don't understand why you don't have the sort of inspect icon. So I think maybe possibly if we let's just not worry about it for now.
Okay.
It might be that it will appear once we have pages like the routing setup, so we can revisit it in a moment. But
Okay.
for whatever reason, it should be there. There should be another icon.
Yeah, I think we're almost done here. So what we'll do is we'll make a route with the exact same component, but instead of TSX, it's just a Vue component. What? I don't want to say Vue.
Ignore that. Yep.
Okay.
That's just VS Code. Okay. So when we have a pages folder, then Nuxt enables routing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can call like what do you want your default one to be, like TSX or
Yes.
yeah,
So we'll call this tsx.tsx. I want a route called tsx basically.
very nice.
Index.view. Is this is this all right? And so logically now what I expect is if I go here to /tsx, I get my that's not what I expect, to be fair. Oh, something's maybe I just are you muted or something? I don't hear you anymore.
I shouldn't be muted.
You're
I'm
fine.
muted.
No, you're fine. Okay, so
What about the other file that's in there? Is there another file in there
yeah, the index.view.
which is empty? So it's basically saying it should have some content. So you should, and this should be nice if there's a nicer error message, right? But we can, yeah, that will be fine.
Okay, nice. What happened to my styling? Am I not importing Tailwind or something?
Yeah, what happened to your styling?
I
Oh,
don't know.
because we set Tailwind to scan app.tsx, whereas now we need to give it a glob pattern and basically say like pages. So we actually do need to change this in the Tailwind module because I think we just never envisioned that people would be having TSX files. But yeah, we can do that, and that should be fine. I think you don't need to add view; that should already be handled.
Nice. They've Wow. I love this. Next.js needs to copy this because it's beautiful. Oh, I still don't have. Do I need to? Let's restart the dev server just for fun.
Why is that happening?
Come on.
Oh, it's looking. That's, by the way, something we need to sort out. It's missing required image because initially, the initial load, we are not passing in an image, so we can set required false or something like that. But that's not a big deal. This is a bigger deal. Is that syntax not being recognized maybe by Tailwind? Can we
Probably.
just say pages, like get rid of the glob and just say like slash pages.
Boom.
This is like Tailwind. This is whatever
Sure.
syntax it.
There, perfect. It works. Lovely.
Okay.
Excellent. So now we have a TSX and we have a view and we just need to replicate. Let's okay, I just want to try this. Rewrite this as an SFC in Vue. And then okay, stop. Wrap the whole thing in code backticks. Nice. This is cool. Do my job for me, AI. Beautiful. Look, it even has the sup I'm a placeholder and everything. This is, in my opinion, Daniel, this is the future of AI. Like it'll probably be wrong, but we do less work still because we just, fine tune. Um, looks good. Let's see how we go. Copy code. Oof. I love that it just knows its code. Amazing. And then we'll come here, paste, save. Let's see what we got. So instead of slash /tsx, we go index. Ah, no use fetch.
Um, let's see what it generated. Let me have a look at the code.
Would have been awesome if it just worked. But anyway.
Okay, so we've got our template, which is probably fine.
Wow, what's this? Is that valid?
Where is the breed coming from in this case? Oh yeah, that's fine actually. But actually we can get rid of the, yeah, that is fine, I think.
Okay.
Let's go down to the actual script setup. Okay. Okay. Let's make some changes here, right? Immediately, let's change this from script to script setup. Let's remove the imports, all of them. And that import use fetch was the issue. Okay, now let's delete some more code. Let's delete the export default, the name, and the function. All we need is the contents of the setup function.
What? Delete the name and the function? What function, dude?
To delete define component, delete those first two lines, 27, 28. Yeah. And then at the end, delete like the components bit. That object doesn't need to be there. And then let's zoom up. Okay, delete that return function and all the stuff that it's returning.
This here, okay.
Yeah, delete all of that. And set current breed. Where are we using that?
Up here in.
Yeah, so all we need to do is just say current breed equals breed.
It, okay. Do we need to get
It's just simpler though.
this event?
No, you don't need to pass that's just the IDE telling you the what is happening here.
Okay,
So you can just type current breed equals breed.
I don't like that. It looks like I wrote this dollar event equal. Like what the? This is bad.
You can. I think it's just been released and experimental. You can probably turn it off.
Yeah, it needs to be off by default because that's confusing as hell. It's like people teaching code with ligatures. No. Anyway, so what? So we're doing current breed.
Current breed equals breed.
Wow, so much better. Whatever that was.
And then we can remove therefore the hat. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
If you now go back to the script setup, you can actually now delete that whole function handler, which won't be used. And actually, I think you can see that it's faded out because it's not being used in the template.
Nice.
So now, you can also remove.
So I'm just formatting this. Yeah, cool.
So there you go. I think that is probably should work.
Oof. This is so awesome. Okay, but it doesn't set the, well, what are you setting? It's setting something, but
No, it's because we're passing promise, it seems. Let's go back to what are we actually passing to that thing?
let's take a look.
Let's look at the doggo.
Yeah, the doggo component.
Well, no, I mean let's look at where we're using doggo. We are passing breed image. Where is breed image set?
Here, use fetch.
And where are breed image isn't so wrap destructure it in curly braces. And this is a ChatGPT mistake. And do like data colon breed image. I mean the other way around. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's fine because basically that should now.
Yeah. Nice, dude. Like ChatGPT. Damn. Like if you really know what you're doing, it's just awesome. Good. Okay, so we did it. That was actually really fun. So now we have routing, right? So if I come to the dev tools, I should have
Pages above components.
Thank you.
And you can actually move from page to page just by clicking those links.
Wow.
So I don't know if you can see at the top, you're actually moving around in your app.
Let's just make it clear for everybody. Let's do a little bit of delineation. And we'll say h1 t. This is view. We'll do class name. I just Tailwind. Why not? And then we'll do at the top of the TSX. Bro, this is. I'm here for it. And then we'll do h1 TSX save. So now we should be able to see ourselves moving from Vue to TSX. Oof, awesome. So good. And then I can look at the code. Oh, I go straight
Yeah.
to my editor. Nice, man.
Um, let's just try one more time. Let's go back to that components tab and see if we can get that clicked. Goodness sake! For goodness sake!
uh, I love it. I'm here for it. What are we good to see?
Try the overview tab again. Let's maybe the icon's going to magically appear this time at last. No. Why? Why? I don't understand. My day. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on. I'll have a look later.
Okay, good. That's all. I feel comfortable enough now with Vue to leave it here. Comfortable knowing that the premier way is SFCs, and if I'm not good at SF, honestly, I don't feel like I'm good at SFCs, and I feel like the learning curve is pretty steep for me because I'll tell you why. Because like if we go look at this SFC, like this interpolation, I'm not used to. This at click directive, I'm not
Mhm.
used to, and this event thing, just like I hate this whole thing that looks like it's augmenting my syntax
Just
a lot.
hover over it. It tells you how to disable it.
Oh, where? Oh, right, this thing. Yeah, we're
That's a VS Code option. It looks like.
that's just I need to fix that. And then also this binding thing I'm not used to, but and also there's v if and v else, so I'm also not used to that, but I feel like I can get used to it with time,
Mm.
and I feel like the best way that I'm comfortable getting used to it is using ChatGPT. So I literally just write TSX and then pass it along until I have ChatGPT teach me as Vue SFC syntax, and then we're good. I feel like I can at this point build anything. I don't know how to do auth. I expect there's like Nuxt auth, some type of package that would handle that. But I mean, look, we have routing, we have data fetching, we have, I'm assuming, code splitting, right, with your automatic imports.
Yeah.
Dude, and then it's probably deployable to Vercel, Netlify, Cloudflare, and things automatically. So this is pretty good. The only question mark I have is auth, but I'm sure I can figure that out. I'm happy to leave it here unless there's something else you want to show me.
Just to say on the auth thing, there's a great community package called Nuxt.auth, which wraps Next auth. So basically, any provider, if you're used to using Next auth, you can use all the providers from that in Nuxt as well.
Wow, that is amazing. Cool. Great. Daniel,
This is fun.
this has been so good. Thank you for explaining to me like I'm five and slapping my wrist, and also being, receptive enough to some of the feedback I was able to afford you, that I hope is helpful. I'm curious, just before we finish, all the camera is on you. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to plug? What do you want to, this is your moment.
My moment.
Your
Oh dear.
moment.
Uh, what do I want to plug? Well, if you want to try Next App, feel free to give me a ping if I can help. Um, let's see. I I can plug. I built a library for making regular expressions better. If you want to try that out, it's called Magic Regex, and you can visit it at regex.dev. And that basically lets you use natural language syntax, and it compiles away to nothing at build time. And it what else does it do? It gives you type safety when you're using them. So you can actually have type safe access to named groups, anonymous groups, and more. It even generates a regex in TypeScript that displays when you hover over it. So I'll plug that, lacking anything else to plug.
Nice.
Um,
That's awesome.
it's got support for Nuxt, but also it works in Next.js or um, Astro or anything else that you want to use it in. It's powered by unplugin, so it should work pretty much anywhere.
That is so cool. I've struggled a lot with regex. I'm sure many have, so that's excellent. Thank you, dude, and thank you for being part of the live stream and teaching me Vue. I'm really excited to build something, and I'll share it with you and come at you with more questions probably off screen.
Amazing.
All right,
Great.
take care. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk offline. Peace.